Hello, this is video 10.2. It's on arithmetic sequences and series. So we've already talked about general formula for arithmetic sequences and what they are. So we're going to use the arithmetic sequences we learned and we're going to find the sums of the arithmetic sequences. So let's look at a key concept box of the nth term of an arithmetic sequence. Now we learned by using the slope formula, we can actually come up with a formula that we could use to find the nth term of a of n of an arithmetic sequence. So here's our formula. A of n is equal to a of 1 means to the first term plus n minus 1 times d, the common difference. So we just got to know what these mean. So a of n means like if I wanted to find the 12th term. So n would be 12 and we want to know what is y when x is 12. Remember, x is the number of terms or the place of the terms, and that's what n is. Okay, so that's really what you're finding. A of n is the y value when x is n, whatever term we're trying to find, and d is a common difference. So let's look at example 1. So in example 1, they want us to find, the 12th term of a sequence, and they give us the sequence as 9, 16, 23, and 30. So the first thing we need to use our formula, this is a really important formula you need to know. So this is going to be our formula. Okay, so a of n. So we want to find the 12th formula. So we need to find a of 12. That's what we're trying to find. So what do we know? We know a of 1 is 9, and what is our common difference? We got to find d, right? So we said d is 12, and d is 7, excuse me, and n is 12, because that's what we're trying to find. We're trying to find a of 12. So we're going to put in our formula, so we want to find a of 12 is equal to when 9 plus 12 minus 1 times d. Whoops, d is 7. So we just plug what we know into our formula and we solve for a of 12, or y. So we have n plus 6 times 7 is 42, and we get n is equal to a of 12 is equal to 86. Okay, so all you're doing is you're using this formula, which we have in our key concept box, and we learn how to do that by using the point slope formula to finding our formula. So this is our formula. You plug it in. Pause it, do the 2 guided practices, and we'll move on to example 2. So example 2 is they want us to write an equation for the nth term of an arithmetic sequence. So they give us a sequence 5, negative 13, negative 31, ... So again, we use our basic formula. A of n equals a of 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So we need to find what information is given. All right, so we know a of 1 is 5, right? What else do we know? Do we know a common difference? Yes, our d is what? 18, because we add 18 to get here and we add 18 here to get to this one. So now we put in our formula a of n is equal to 5 plus, we don't know, we're trying to find a formula, n minus 1 times 18. Okay, so now we're going to distribute and just simplify this expression. That's all we're doing. So we get 5 plus 18n minus 18. We're going to combine like terms, so we get our formula as a of n equals 18n minus, or plus 23. I did some bad math. This should be 13. Okay, so minus 13. I think I did some bad math here. Because d So D, oops, that was there. So let's make sure I did D correctly. No, I didn't. D was actually negative 18. So that's why it's plus 23. Okay, so this is actually negative 18. Negative times a negative is positive, so that's how we get plus 23. So there is our equation. They just want us to write a general equation. So now if I wanted to find the 100th term, I just do 18 times 100 plus 23, and I will know what that value is. Okay? Let's look at the second one. So they give us, here they give us a sub 5 equals 19 and d equals 6. So again, what are we looking for? We need an a sub 1 and we need a d. Okay? Well, we have a d, right? But we don't have an a sub 1. But we can go back to this formula. All right? I know what a sub n is. It's 19, which makes n 5. So if I put a sub n, so I put 19 equals a sub 1, because we don't know that, plus 5 minus 1 times 6 is d. Now I only have one variable, and I can solve using algebra. I get a sub 1 plus 24. I minus 24, I get a sub 1 equals negative 5. So now I can plug that back into my formula, and I get a sub n equals negative 5 plus n minus 1 times 6. And I just simplify this by distributing negative 5 plus 6n minus 6, and I get 6n minus 11, and there is your formula. Okay, so you're always going to go back to this formula here and plug in what you know. All right, so do the guided practice, 2A and 2B, and we'll move on to example 3. So example 3, we're going to look at our next few vocabulary terms. We're going to look at our first vocabulary term, arithmetic mean. So what does an arithmetic mean? So basically it's terms between any two non-consecutive terms. Call this a sub, this is the fourth term, and this is the first term. Okay, so we've got 2 and 3, right? So if arithmetic mean or means are the terms between two non-consecutive terms here of a sequence. All right, so that's what an arithmetic mean is. So let's go straight to the example and figure out how to do this. So in example 3, so let's move on to example 3. It says find the arithmetic mean in this sequence. So they give us negative 8 and 22. What else do they tell us? Well, there's how many. The blanks, they either have to tell us how many arithmetic means there are, or they have to show us physically. So in between negative 8 and 22, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And so I know that this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and this is the sixth term. So what do I know? A sub 1 is negative 8. A sub 6 is 22. Do I know the common difference? No, but I can go back to this handy formula and plug in what I know. So I know a sub n is 22, or a sub 6, equals negative 8 plus, since this is a sub 6, this is the sixth term, times d. So I'm plus, so I get 30 equals 5d, and d equals 6. So my common difference is 6. So now can I just add 6? So plus 6 is going to give me what? Negative 2. Plus 6 is going to give me 4. Plus 6 is going to give me 10. And plus 6 is going to give me 16. So my arithmetic mean, I have 4 of them, are -2, 4, 10, and 16. All right, let's look at, so pause it, do the guided practice, and we're going to move on to example 4. Okay, example 4, we're going to look at our next few vocabularies. We're going to look at series, arithmetic series, and partial sums. So a series is formed when the terms of sequences are added together. An arithmetic series, it's a sum of an arithmetic series. Okay? That's all are added together. That's all. It's just more specific. And a partial sum is when we have parts of a series added together. We could have somewhere in the middle, we could have terms 4 through 20. We can find each one of those and add those together. Or we can do 1 through 5. Or we can do all of them. Oh, actually, we're just doing partial sums right now. So we can either start from the first one or we can start in the middle. Okay, so that's what partials. Arithmetic series is when we is a sum of all of them, and we're gonna learn. We're not gonna learn how to do those. We're going to just stop at partial sums. Okay, so you've got two formulas, and you look at your key concept box, and we've got. Here's our formulas for the partial sum of an arithmetic series. You have a general form and an alternate form. So general form you're going to use when they give you a sub 1 and a sub n. Okay? An alternate form is when they give you a sub 1 and d, and we plug it in here. Okay? So let's use these formulas and let's find the sum. So basically here is we're adding. So what we're saying is if I have these many terms, let's do 2, 4, 6, 8, and I want to find the sum of this series, of the first through fourth term. So I'm adding 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 6 is 12, plus 8 is 20. So the sum of this is 20. Now, they give me a formula in case I got bigger numbers or I want to do a bigger part of this series, right? So let's look at what they give us. So they give us 12 plus 19 plus 26 plus ... plus 180. So I know this is the first term and this is a sub n is all I know. So we're going to look at our formula. S of n equals n over 2 times 2 times a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, there's our formula. So we know, what do we know? Let's just dissect and see what we know. We know a sub 1 is 12. And I have my formula a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, right? So I know a sub n, correct? So I need to find n. I need to find how many terms in between here. Well, I can manually find the common difference at 7 and keep adding 7 and getting everything between the term 26 and the a sub n 180. But that could be a lot of work and we could make mistakes. So let's just use our formula to find what term this is. I know a sub 1, so I know a sub n, right? So it's 180 is going to be replaced here. I know a sub 1. I don't know n, but I know my common difference is 7, right? So I can use algebra. I'm going to minus 12, so that's 8. 168 equals, oops, and we know d is 7, sorry. All right, and then we're going to divide by 7. Divide by 7, and I get 24 equals n minus 1, add 1, so n is 25. So now I know n is 25. So now I can do this. S of n is 25 over 2 times 2 times 12 plus 25 minus 1. I know my common difference is 7. And then if I just use the math here, and plug this in, I'm going to get 25 over 2 times 24 plus 24. Don't forget order of operation. And we get 25 over 2 times 192 over 1. So S of n equals 2400. So I could find all these in between there and go back and add all these up, but that's a lot of work. It's much easier to use formulas and plug in what we have. All right, pause the video and do the 2 guided practice 4A and 4B, and then we're going to move on to the next example. Okay, so example 5 says, find the first 3 terms of an arithmetic sequence when a sub 1 is 7, a sub n is 79, and s of n equals 430. Okay, so I have a sub 1, so I need to find d. If I look at my s of n formula, nowhere there is a d, but I know a sub n, but I don't know what n is, so I'm going to have to do 2 pieces to this. All right, so we start off with our formula, s of n equals n times a sub 1 plus a sub n over 2. If I just find n, then I can use this formula because I have enough information here. I don't need to find d. All right. Well, can I find n? Yes. And then I can find d. So I need to find n first. I need to find what this n is. Then I can put it in the formula of what? A sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, because I do need d to find the next 3 terms, because my terms are 7, comma, something, something, and something. I don't know what. So, based on what I'm given, I know that this is 430 equals n times 7 plus 430 divided by 2. And if I do the math here, oh, sorry, I don't know why I got 430. 79 here. Oops, 79. Do the math, and I'm not going to do the algebra. You can do the algebra. Do 7 plus 79 divided by 2, which should give you 43. Actually, I'll do the math. Equals n times 43. We divide by 43, so n is 10. So now I can come over here and go a sub n is 79 equals 7 plus 10 minus 1 times d. So I'm going to minus 7, so I get 72 equals 9d. Divide by 9, and d equals 8. So now I can just add 8, so it's 15, 23, and 31. Okay, so there's our next 3 terms. But I had to work backwards and know that I've given S of n, so I'm probably going to use the S of n formula. And then I'm going to go back to this one because I need the common difference because I can't find d here, right? So I need to use this formula afterwards. All right, pause the video and then try the guided practice 5A and 5B. All right, so we're moving on to our last part of this lesson. And it's called, we're going to use a Greek letter called sigma to find sigma notation. So we go to our key concept box. Let's move down. Alrighty. All right, so sigma notation, it's going to look like it's a Greek letter that looks like a capital E. All right, so it's going to have use this formula. So k equals 1 is going to be the first value of k, and n is going to be the last value of k, and then f of k, this is going to be f of k, the formula for the terms of the series. So an example would be this one. So the first term is 1. This is a shorthand way of writing the partial sum formula, and we can also use it in our calculator. I will show you that in class, so make sure you bring your calculator. Okay. So basically, this is saying if I put 1 into here, I get 6. So I'm putting the terms 1 through 12, the first 12 terms, I'm putting them into this formula and I'm adding them up. That's what partial sum is. And this is the shortcut of saying that. So I would put 1 in there, I put 2 in there, 3 in there, so on until I get to 12, and then I would add them all together, and that is the partial sum. So this is a shortcut. So let's look at an example. They want us to use sigma notation to find the partial sum. So we want terms 4 through 18. So our first term, so what do we know here? So what we're given, and I'm not good at writing these, so just bear with me. Okay, so k equals 4 and 6k minus 1. So we know a sub 1, which is this, is 4. A sub 10 or 18, right, is going to be oh, we don't know a sub 18 yet. So the first term is 4. So we're going to put 4 into the equation, okay? So 4 a sub 4. So 4 times 6 is 24, minus 1 is 23. A sub 18, so we do 18 times 6 minus 1 is going to be 107, okay? So I know a sub, so this is the first term, right? And this is the, so we're going to do, to find what n is, we're going to take 18, because this is 18, not 10, minus 4 plus 1 is going to give us 15. So there's, we would say this is the first term and this is the 15th term. But we put it in here, these numbers into the formula to get what a sub 1 is and a sub 15. Okay, so now we're going to go and use our partial sum formula. S of n equals n times a sub 1 plus a sub n over 2. So S of n equals, okay, so n is 15, a sub 1 is 23, plus a sub n is 107 divided by 2. After doing the math, we get 975. If we want to check this manually, we can say, okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, do it all the way to 18. Okay, put those in those formulas, put those values here, and add them manually. Okay, we're going to get 975. Or, yes, 975, which is letter C. All right, again, in class, I will show you how to use your calculator. For right now, you need to know how to interpret this. This is just a shorthand way of writing. You want to find the sum of the terms between 4 and 18. All right, stop the video and do the guided practice.